ready for this, Otar? This is really gonna blow up in my face here.
I don't think...
Welcome back to another episode of Regional Rumble, the show where both Otarthelad and myself build teams based around a regional form of a Pokemon and make them as competitively viable as possible. We will take these teams on the in-game Pokemon ladder and grind them all the way up to Master Ball tier as quickly as we can. We will take note of where both players started, document our journeys and changes, and see how long it took for both parties to get to Master Ball tier. Followed up by one final match between Otar and myself to see whose team was better. Welcome to Regional Rumble. For this episode, we have Articuno. Rounding out our trilogy of birds, Articuno is the third of the legendary trio from Kanto being featured on this channel, which is ironic when the number 1 is literally in its name. Articuno is an ice and flying type Pokemon. Being the bulkiest of the 3 birds, Articuno is able to take neutral hits quite well and has access to the freeze mechanic, one of the best status conditions in Generation 1, but not seen as much in today's game.
Yeah, okay, so could you tell that I like wrote and recorded all of this like back in February? Cause are you kidding me?
Pokedex entries say it helps people lost on icy mountains, that it creates blizzards from freezing moisture in the air, that its feather-like blades are composed of psychic energy. Wait, the fuck you mean psychic? If you couldn't tell by this point, Articuno got a regional form in Generation 8 thanks to the Crown Tundra DLC, where it was reimagined into a psychic and flying type Pokemon with a more aggressive playstyle, with a higher speed and special attack stat, and given the ability Competitive, which boosted special attack stat when any of its stats are lowered by an opponent, making it an effective counter to Icy Wind and Intimidate users. It was featured at our Polish regionals in 2023, placing top 9 with an aggressive physical team to abuse this ability. You'd think for consistency's sake, I'd stick to the Cantonian form and Otar took the Galarian form, but this is more or less how the argument turned out.
I think you should do this. You're more the biker type. I've seen you use a toothpick in public. Motorcycles are death machines. I have 3 kids. I'm not risking it. Are you saying my life matters less because I don't conform to society's heteronormative, child-centric ideals? Are you really playing the gay card right now? Yes, Queen.
Galarian Articuno is a pretty self-explanatory Pokemon. It's got a faster speed stat than its Cantonian counterpart, and on top of that, it's made specifically to deal more damage with its higher special attack and its only ability Competitive. It does okay in the bulk department, having a respectable 100 base special defense stat and 90 base HP to match it. It also has access to a signature move in the form of Freezing Glare, a 90 base psychic type special move with a 10% chance of freezing, keeping some hint of the original bird with it. This would be well and all if Articuno didn't have such a poor type combination! Ever since the release of the Ruin Pokemon and Urshifu for VGC, Dark types have become popular in the metagame for Scarlet and Violet, specifically Chien Pao, being able to hit Articuno with either Ice or Dark type moves for stab. Other Pokemon like King Gambit and Roaring Moon also tend to give Galarian Articuno a lot of trouble. Even with the recently added Incineroar, while proccing Competitive with its Intimidate ability, it forces Articuno to swap because Incineroar has the better initial matchup. Along with that, Fluttermane, Arcanine, or any Pokemon that can spam Ghost and Rock type moves all threaten Galarian Articuno, and it doesn't have the best speed stat to try and outplay these Pokemon, whether with Tailwind or Trick Room. It does get access to Expanding Force, but can't utilize the Psychic Terrain damage boost because of its flying type. Sure, it hits 4 types for super effectiveness, but it also loses to Rock, Electric, Ice, Dark, and Ghost, all of which are aggressive and popular types in VGC today. The only fun niche is using its signature move to try and freeze people, which even then it's come on, did every Pokemon turn Canadian or something? Because Articuno's ability Competitive is its only ability it has access to, it makes sense to try and shape the team around it. My first draft was trying to find something that abused Competitive in general, and my research led to a very particular Pokemon. Weirdeer has access to the ability Intimidate, which automatically drops all of your opponent's Pokemon's physical attack stat by 1 stage. You might be saying at home, well, this is fine and dandy and all, but how does this apply to my own Articuno? Because it's also the only Pokemon with Intimidate that knows Skill Swap. Skill Swap lets you swap your current ability with any Pokemon on the field, as long as that ability can be swapped off that Pokemon. Using Skill Swap on or with a Pokemon that has Intimidate actually re-procs the ability, activating it on a moment's notice. And since Weirdeer is such a slow Pokemon, it's simple. Set up Trick Room turn 1, Skill Swap into your opponent turn 2, and proc your own competitive boosts. Did you know +2 Articuno can one-shot Fluttermane? It's not bad. Studying both this concept of a team plus the Articuno itself that placed 9th in Poland, I made a weird hybrid team that let me run Politoed and Archaludon as a small Rain Core, along with Chien-Pao and Dragonite as extra damage. Having access to the Rain stopped Photosynthesis and Sun teams on command, and giving Archaludon Stalwart instead of Stamina would let me play around Indeedee and other Psychic Terrain teams that I thought would have been more popular. I was heavily mistaken. Unfortunately, this team started to drag itself into multiple directions all at the same time, so I had to scrap it halfway through my run, but I'll still mention it in the battle analysis. And here are the movesets, stat distributions for those interested in this team. Also, if you're enjoying what you see so far and haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I'm going to be focusing a lot more on content this year and would love to push for YouTube partner as well. Thanks again and enjoy the video. Starting from scratch, I took another look at the team from Poland and analyzed what made it so good. Essentially, Jamie Boyd's team consisted of a high initial damaging special attacker, 4 physical attackers who vary in support and damage, and a competitive Pokemon that keeps those physical attackers safe, as it would threaten any Intimidate leads by now having to deal with a powered up Articuno. Even if they didn't bring Articuno into a game, it was still impacting the initial team setup, as the opponent had to gamble leading with an Intimidate user or not. Utilizing that aspect of the team, I went to try and find an efficient sweeper to partner with my now defensive Articuno, who ran Freezing Glare, Terra Blast, Recover, and Tailwind with a Rocky Helmet and a Terra type of Fighting. The Fighting Terra helped deal with both Dark and Rock type attacks, while letting me hit back Dark, Steel, and Ice type Pokemon with Terra Blast. I maxed out its HP stat while giving it 196 points into its defense, 36 points into its special attack, and 20 points into its special defense, with the last 4 into its speed, while also giving it a modest nature. A big weakness to cover for Articuno is its weakness to electric type attacks. Ground is the only type that hits for super effective into electric. Trying to find the hardest hitting sweeper I could find, I ran into Excadrill, a ground steel sweeper, giving me the answer to Flutter Mane and Raging Bolt at the same time. Excadrill was recently added to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet thanks to the Indigo Disc DLC, and packs a punch with a base 135 physical attack stat and has a bulky HP stat of 110. Its speed is a little low, coming in at 88, but with the Sandstream ability and a Jolly nature, we can get him up to a healthy 308 speed inside of Sandstorm, letting him outspeed threats like Iron Bolter with max speed and a booster energy. With those numbers in mind, I almost maxed out its attack to 244 EVs while giving 4 points to its HP, defense, and special defense for some extra bulk. I ran Iron Head, High Horsepower, Rock Slide, and Terra Blast with a Terra type of Fire to cover grass Pokemon, which in hindsight should have went with something more defensive. Live and learn, and gave it a choice band to maximize its damage output. To complement any Sand Rush Pokemon, you need a Sandstorm setter, and what better way to set them up with none other than the OG itself, Tyranitar. Tyranitar is the pseudo-legendary from Generation 2. With a combined stat total of 600, a physical attack stat of 134, and defensive stats both at 100 minimum, it has the Sandstream ability. What could go wrong with this Pokemon? Because I'm going to be relying on Sandstorm being active this time around, I give Tyranitar a Smooth Rock to hold to increase Sandstorm's duration while on the field. Normally you would give it an Assault Vest, but thanks to Sandstorm's properties, Tyranitar still gets a special defensive boost, just not as big as usual. However, this does open up using Protect on Tyranitar now. Along with that Protect, I ran Rock Slide, Knock Off, and Heavy Slam, giving it 196 HP EVs, maxing out its attack stat at 252, and putting the rest into special defense with an Adamant nature and a Terra type of Fairy.
And now for something completely different.
Regieleki is a weird choice for this team, except at the same time, it's not. Naturally, it's one of the fastest Pokemon in the game with a base speed stat of 200 and gets access to Electro Web, one of the top moves in VGC for speed control. Pairing with its ability Transistor, which buffs electric type moves it uses by a 1.3 multiplier, it tends to be a special attacker because of those hard-hitting Electro Webs and Thunderbolts it can produce. However, I went
For something completely different.
I have an impulse. For when I see something funny, I need to try it at least once. That's how I kept my interest into Pokemon VGC, and finding a physical Explosion Relecki set online was so hilarious that I couldn't pass it up. No one ever expects Regieleki to run a physical set, let alone be bulky. Still running Electro Web for speed control, you can get away with taking a few hits before exploding on your opponents. Also, since my Pokemon are built very bulky, and a few of them resist normal type attacks, Explosion is a hit I can tank if need be. This Elecki set runs Electro Web, Explosion, Supercell Slam, and Protect. Maxing out its attack stat completely with an Adamant nature, I put the rest of its EVs as follows. 108 EVs into its HP and defense, 12 EVs into its special defense, and 28 EVs into its speed, naturally letting you outspeed almost anything you need it to. I also gave it a life orb to maximize its damage output with this hybrid moveset, along with the Terra type of grass for a defensive approach. However, Terra normal explosion is not to be underestimated. There was another reason for not running the assault vest on Tyranitar. I had another Pokemon in mind, and believe me when I say I really didn't want to resort to using it. I wanted to do my best of not reusing Pokemon from the same set of videos, but I finally caved in when I noticed I had a huge ground weakness on my team and needed to add Pokemon who could specifically play around said weakness. So, welcome back Rillaboom, ladies and gentlemen. Rillaboom is a solid Rapid Strike Urshifu counter, Fake Out Pokemon, and bulky beast in general. Running Fake Out, Grassy Glide, U-Turn, and Stomping Tantrum to deal with Fire-type matchups specifically. I also gave it 180 EVs into HP, fully maxed out its attack with a Brave Nature, and put the rest into its special defense, keeping it roughly the same since the Zapdos video. Rillaboom was also a solid answer to Indeedee Psychic Terrain users, as my Rillaboom had 0 IVs into its speed stat, allowing it to tie with Indeedee's if they ever came out at the same time to try and set up terrains over theirs. I also kept the Terra type of fire on it so I could prevent possible burns if need be. Finally, to round out our team, I wanted some kind of support similar to Arcanine, but it couldn't be weak to ground while also having water type coverage at the same time. I had to think long and hard about this until I realized it was staring me in the face. Gyarados is such an underrated pick nowadays, but not one to pass up for sure. Its high attack, decent bulk, and wide assortment of moves make it very flexible and a unique Pokemon. This Gyarados set was all about bulk and interruption. Giving it the Intimidate ability, it also ran Waterfall, Temper Flare, Taunt, and Thunder Wave. Taunt and Thunder Wave give amazing interruption against my opponents, especially under Tailwind. And now the new move Temper Flare also has some use, letting Gyarados not only hit Grass-type Pokemon, but its power doubles if a move failed the previous turn. So, if you can't paralyze someone, just beat them into submission. That's the same thing, right? With an adamant nature, I gave it 124 EVs into HP, 36 EVs into attack, 244 EVs into defense, 4 EVs into special defense, and the rest of it into its speed. I also gave it leftovers plus the Terra type of grass for electric matchups. And with that, the team is complete. Some optimal leads would be honestly any Pokemon except Tyranitar with Excadrill. This gives your opponent a fake out surprise of will you swap or won't you, depending on what they lead with. This also preps you just in case they lead with either Whimsicott or Tornadus and you expect them to bring up the sun or rain respectively. And then you can swap into your Tyranitar in the back, letting Excadrill go for a surprise KO. Articuno is one of my favorites to lead with Excadrill since you can prep for Intimidates and swap out your Excadrill if need be. Regieleki and either Rillaboom or Tyranitar are also fun options since you have free reign of setting up Electrowebs against your opponent. And then just when they think Aleki is on their last legs, explosion in front of their faces and take out whatever you can with you. If you'd like to skip to the battle between Otar and myself, skip to this time code shown on the screen. Now, get ready for some Pokemon battles streamed from my Twitch. Did somebody say Twitch? Yep, that's right. We just hit affiliate on Twitch. New emotes have been added for subscribers, and I can't be more thrilled to continue into content creation thanks to y'all's support. Feel free to follow, chat, and hang out when I'm live. We will be playing challenges with friends, recording for future videos, and just overall have fun. One final shameless plug, Otarthelad has been making a giant video about his perspective on the trio of birds we've been using for this challenge, and when he uploads his content, I would very much appreciate it if you guys gave his videos and ideas a look. With that out of the way, let's get into the battles. My opponent leads with Fluttermane and Rillaboom while I lead with Articuno and Weirdeer. Weirdeer's Intimidate procs, automatically lowering Rillaboom's attack. Immediately afterwards, my opponent goes to Terrasilize Fluttermane into a Fairy type, playing very aggressive while attempting to fake out Weirdeer. Luckily, I used Protect on Articuno to block a Moonblast from Fluttermane, and thanks to the Covert Cloak on Weirdeer, she ignores the fake out and sets up Trick Room, making my Pokemon the fastest on the board. Weirdeer gets off Skill Swap, giving Intimidate to Rillaboom and lowering my attack stat while proccing Articuno's competitive ability, raising its special attack. Rillaboom U-turns into Articuno, dealing very minimal damage and swaps into Raging Bolt, while Articuno uses Freezing Glare on a Fluttermane, knocking it out in one shot. My opponent replaces Fluttermane with Incineroar, which uses Intimidate on switch, proccing competitive again. Seeing the walking electric dragon giraffe on the field, I hold one turn before terrasilizing and decide to protect Articuno because... Oh no, I don't have Intimidate on anymore. Oh boy, what if I can weaken his instinct? Hold on. Thunderclap and... You fool! And then let me weaken your insect. Don't tell me he knocked off into... After that beautiful setup, I terrestrialize Articuno into a ground type, dodging Raging Bolt's priority move, Thunderclap. Attempting to be funny, I skill swap into Incineroar again, giving my opponent back his Intimidate and setting up my competitive for the 3rd time, making my Articuno at +6 special attack. Incineroar knocks off my Life Orb, doing okay damage, but I retort with a ground-type Terra Blast, knocking out Incineroar, and my opponent brings back Rillaboom to replace it. Taking a turn to stall, I swap Weirdeer into Qianpao. I protect Articuno while Rillaboom Grassy glides into it, and Qianpao barely lives a Thunderbolt from Raging Bolt. Not realizing Grassy Terrain finished, I move both Pokemon to the offensive, letting Raging Bolt take out Qianpao with Thunderclap while I revenge kill Rillaboom with Freezing Glare. I bring out Arcaladon to replace Qianpao, but seeing that it was 3-1, my opponent shortly quit after, giving me the game. My opponent starts off with Ogerpon and Whimsicott, while I lead with Articuno and Excadrill. Ogerpon starts with a spiky shield, and thinking that Articuno was the real damage dealer, Whimsicott sets up a light screen. Seeing a rock and fairy type on the field, however, was far from the truth, as I swap out Articuno for Tyranitar, who sets up a Sandstorm on switch. This unlocks Excadrill's Sand Rush, as he charges into Whimsicott with an Iron Head, killing it with one shot and is replaced with Ursaluna. Fearing an Earth Power, I swap Excadrill into Gyarados, proccing Intimidate and terrestrializing Tyranitar into a fairy type. Ogerpon goes for Horn Leech into Tyranitar, doing okay damage, but nothing too critical, while Tyranitar hits back with Heavy Slam, dropping Ogerpon's HP to 1 thanks to her sturdy ability. Ursaluna does go for the Earth Power, but it's ineffective thanks to Gyarados' Flying type. Seeing my new water type on the field, Ursaluna terrestrializes it into a normal type, while Ogerpon sets up Spiky Shield to stall another turn. Gyarados waterfalls into Ursaluna, while Tyranitar rock slides into both opposing Pokemon. Ogerpon remains unaffected, but Ursaluna flinches after taking both flinch-inducing moves. Ogerpon strikes Gyarados with Ivy Cudgel, but is luckily not a one-shot thanks to my added bulk and Intimidate from earlier. Gyarados goes for another waterfall into Ursaluna, and Tyranitar rock slides into both opposing Pokemon, taking out Ogerpon and almost taking the kill on Ursaluna. However, it does land a Terra-boosted Hyper Voice, taking out Gyarados and almost knocking out Tyranitar. It also boosted Special Attack thanks to its Throat Spray item proccing off of the Hyper Voice. Luckily, chip damage from Sandstorm brings it down to lethal range from anything I have at this point. I send out Excadrill and my opponent sends out their final Pokemon, Arcanine, proccing Intimidate on switch. Ursaluna goes for Protect, securing its fate either way, while Arcanine extreme speeds into Tyranitar, knocking it out. Luckily, I made the right call as Excadrill uses high horsepower into Arcanine, getting a clean kill through Intimidate, and Ursaluna dies to Sandstorm damage, securing me the win. My opponent leads with King Gambit and Urshifu while I send out Articuno and Excadrill, and clearly both of us expected to get intimidated. I turn 1 terrestrialize Articuno into a fighting type, expecting to get hit by a dark type attack, while my opponent terrestrializes King Gambit into a flying type, expect to be knocked out by a ground type attack. I decided to swap Excadrill into Rillaboom so it could easily tank the upcoming Surging Strikes, while King Gambit sucker punches into Articuno, dealing minimal damage and taking recoil because of Rocky Helmet. Articuno freezing glares into Urshifu, almost knocking it out completely. My opponent swaps their Urshifu for their own Rillaboom, while King Gambit takes a turn to stall with Protect. I took this turn to set up Tailwind, thinking it was going to be a Sucker Punch spam at this point, while Rillaboom fakes out the opposing Rillaboom. Afterwards, their Rillaboom fakes out into Articuno, dealing Rocky Helmet damage back to itself, while my Rillaboom U-turns into their Rillaboom, doing respectable damage. Fearing Flying type Terra Blast, I swap into Excadrill so I can set up any knockouts that would be needed. Unfortunately, King Gambit uses Iron Head into Articuno, dealing very solid damage, but takes recoil from Rocky Helmet again. After letting my dyslexia show... Does grass resist steel? The steel resists grass. I decided to swap Articuno into Tyranitar, not realizing how hungry they were for a kill as Rillaboom Grassy glides into Tyranitar, who tanks the hit. Excadrill Iron Heads into Rillaboom, getting rid of a huge threat to my field, while King Gambit knocks out Tyranitar with Iron Head as well. Knocking out Tyranitar there is actually a great spot for me to be in, as I have Sandstorm set up and I can swap in whoever I want for free. I send in my Rillaboom while he brings back his tired Urshifu. Urshifu is forced to Protect while Rillaboom attempted to kill it with Fake Out, covering all my options. Excadrill Ironheads into King Gambit, who barely lives the hit, while King Gambit uses Kowtow Cleave into Rillaboom, who survives the attack. Grassy Terrain disappears unfortunately, taking away my forms of priority-based attack. Not seeing many options, I opt to swap out Rillaboom for Articuno again, while King Gambit decides to Sucker Punch into Rillaboom's slot, effectively wasting their turn. Urshifu, weirdly enough, either didn't have or decided against using Aqua Jet, as Excadrill takes it out with Ironhead, making the game 3-2. My opponent brings out their final Pokemon, Landorus, whose Intimidate procs, negating my Choice Band buff, but also triggering Articuno's competitive ability. Making arguably a pretty stupid play here, I swap Articuno into Rillaboom, expecting to die from Landorus, while King Gambit goes for Sucker Punch again, effectively wasting their turn. Excadrill Ironheads into Landorus, dealing barely half of Landorus' health bar, while Excadrill gets taken out with Stomping Tantrum. King Gambit gets taken out because of Sandstorm chip damage, and now this fight becomes a lot more doable. Because I just sent out Rillaboom, I use the turn to Fake Out again, getting a crit and stopping Landorus in his tracks, while Articuno gets off the final Freezing Glare, knocking out Landorus and securing me the win. My opponent sends out Whimsicott and Gastrodon, while I lead with Articuno and Excadrill. Wait, did I just really pick 3 clips of me leading with the same Pokemon in a row? I swap out Articuno into Tyranitar, setting up Sandstorm in the process. Whimsicott sets up Tailwind. However, I take it out immediately with Excadrill's Ironhead, taking away any chance for my opponent to set up the Sun. Gastrodon goes for Yawn into Tyranitar and replaces Whimsicott with Goldengo. Because of Choice Band locking me into Ironhead, I double swap my side into Regieleki and Articuno. Goldengo protects while Gastrodon yawns into Articuno. Fearing Shadow Ball, I swap Articuno again into Excadrill, while Regieleki Supercell slams into Goldengo, dealing respectable damage, but gets taken out by Gastrodon's Earth Power. I replace Aleki with Tyranitar, as it gives me a few more options than swapping into Articuno and swapping out again. Reading a Protect from Goldengo, I double into Gastrodon. Excadrill hits super hard with high horsepower, but procs Gastrodon's Citrus Berry, bringing its HP back up significantly. This allows it to survive Tyranitar's knockoff while it yawns into Tyranitar again. Their Tailwind, however, runs out, and I try to take the lead here. Excadrill gets the knockout onto Gastrodon with high horsepower, but Goldengo hits back with Make It Rain. Luckily, because of the added bulk on my Pokemon, they both live the hit, and Tyranitar gets the knockoff on Goldengo, giving me a double knockout this turn, while Tyranitar falls asleep due to yawn. My opponent sends out their last Pokemon, Gouging Fire, something that would have been a nightmare to fight if the weather was sunny. Gouging Fire terastallizes into a Grass type, while I also, for whatever reason, terastallize Excadrill into a Fire type. Gouging Fire tanks the high horsepower with its new type and kills Excadrill with Heat Crash. Tyranitar unfortunately doesn't wake up during this process, and I send out my last Pokemon, Articuno. Taking a chance, I send up Tailwind with Articuno to prep Tyranitar, just in case Articuno didn't make it through this turn. Luckily, however, Tyranitar woke up and used Knockoff onto Gouging Fire, getting rid of its Assault Vest. Gouging Fire Heat Crashes into Articuno, who tanks the hit quite well thanks to its bulk and does recoil damage thanks to its Rocky Helmet. This did just enough damage for Sandstorm to chip away enough health for Gouging Fire to fall, securing me the win. All in all, while the first team didn't do so well, leaving me with 10 wins and 10 losses, the second team brought us back with 15 wins and 9 losses, finishing with a total of 25 wins and 19 losses for this challenge. Articuno isn't the easiest Pokemon to make a team around, but it seems that a lot of people get pressured into either focusing down Articuno because of its status as a legendary, or freeze into bringing Intimidate Pokemon because of the ability competitive. This team was a lot of fun. Bringing in some old favorites and using Pokemon in non-conventional ways made it a lot more interesting to play. Sometimes the surprise factor can be your biggest strength. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, if you want to see Otar's perspective from making a Kantonian Articuno team, well, so do I. For now, this will lead to another video of mine, but when he uploads it, click here to see his perspective. Again, if you really enjoyed what you watched so far, please consider subscribing. It would help out so much. Alright, with that out of the way, the teams are set. Let's get ready for another Regional Rumble. I genuinely forget. It's been so long since the Moltres one. When did we do the Moltres fight? It was either back in November or
like
December.
in November, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh, you have scary Pokemon. Oh, this couldn't have been more of a perfect setup. You like that?
Start.
You like that?
Oh.
Whee. See, as
You
much.
a good friend?
He's a great friend. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck?
I just really didn't trust Rock Slide.
You're Terra fighting?
What's your Terra? Wait. Oh, you Terra. Did you Terra Air? You did not air slash. You did not press Terra Blast. You did not. You did not. You did not. You did not. Oh my.
What's your speed type? 80? 85?
Like 95.
Yeah, isn't Ninder's like 91?
When you have a choice, a choice scarf on.
I guess so.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I didn't screw this up as much as I thought I did. Great choice, yes. Thank you so much for doing that one, actually. This makes me feel a lot better about myself. This is gonna hurt.
Oh, fuck.
Judge! Judge, can I leave this game? I don't want to play this anymore.
I'm Renatar.
No, that's cheating. That's what I wanted to do. Is that... Ah, there he is. Okay. What do I have to do? Just kill it? Nothing to it. You wanna know something funny? You wanna know, like, something that's absolutely freaking hilarious? Excadrill is a really fast Pokemon.
Yeah, that checks.
You wanna know something even more... Oh, okay, yeah. I hate that.
Let's go.
Oh, you know what? He really did tell a really bad joke, I gotta say. Oh my God. Good. Great damage.
Oh, damn.
That's actually... Yes, I love this already.
One way to find out.
Only one way. Oh, yeah, that would do it too. Did you just skill swap me? Oh, you skill... Oh! That's disrespectful. All I have to do is hope that you just don't do the thing that I don't want you to do. That's all that matters. That's how I win. Oh, thank God. You don't have protect. That's what I really like about this situation. Resist?
Oh, you're... Oh!
Let's go. Hey, go ahead. See if I care about fake out. Nice. Come on. Do your worst. Don't flinch me. Wait, hold on. Hold on. No. I was just kidding.
You said do your worst? All right, do your worst. Do your worst. Let's see it.
No, I was just kidding. No, I was kidding. It was a prank, bro.
What moves you got? What moves you
Do
got?
your worst. That's what I thought. That's all I got.
Driven by frustration, the user's attacks the target. This move's power doubles if the previous move failed. Does it
Stop.
double if...
Stop. Stop. No.
Probably not then, right? No!
Let's try and get this to a game 3, actually.
Let's not say that. Don't you want to win, sir?
But it'd be for the content.
Withdrew Excadrill.
Didn't expect that
Articuno.
one now, did ya? Let me see it. Let me see Chilling Reception into Stomping Tantrum. Yeah, boy.
You called it.
Oh, Trick Room, though. Okay. I'm just gonna all over your face. What?
You know
Lando wasn't having any of that.
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, that's a bad joke. That's a really bad joke. Wait. That's a terrible joke.
I told it twice. That's the funny part.
That's not funny anymore. That's not funny, but there's a reason why it's not going to be even more funny. Wait.
What did you... You're using glare.
That's not funny.
It connected. It's not supposed to connect.
Yeah, but this neither does this now, and there's a reason why that's not funny.
Terra fighting. I should have played for that, huh?
Did he not? Did you actually not?
Oh?
Wait. Okay, this is fine. Genuinely, this is fine. This is fine. This is why we Terra
Okay.
fighting.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Still a flinch dance.
Let's go.
Oh, it connects.
Well, because I
Please
didn't.
be into Landers.
Yeah.
Okay.
How is your Lando? Wait, what? Why is my Articuno faster than your Lando?
And we're gonna definitely have to check at post, but
All right, you ready? Okay, this is gonna literally. You ready for this? You really ready for this, Otar? This is really gonna blow up in my face here.
I don't think. Holy smokes! Why did it do so much to Tyranitar? Oh!
Fucking course. Of fucking course. Oh, that checks. Yeah.
Oh god, I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No!
Let's go.
That's the one that mattered. That's the one that genuinely mattered. Well, this blows.
Okay. Oh, you hit the Tailwind?
I did hit the tailwind.
You have Tailwind?
I have Tailwind. You have Tailwind and Trick Room. What the fuck do you mean? You're chastising me for Tailwind. I have a feeling I lost my T-Tar. Or I lost my Excadrill. That's what I was gonna... Oh, maybe I didn't. No, I think I did. Oh, I didn't. You did not.
Why is Slowbro so? Wait, what? You're not allowed making that. No. There's no way you hit him twice, right?
Yeah, buddy. Wait, no.
Slow.
How?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh.
And now, I unfortunately must do this to you. Did you swap out your Articuno, good sir? I need to know right here, right now. It doesn't matter what happens to me now at this point. I just want this to be known that your Articuno. Oh, well, yeah, unless it does that. Yeah, that would save it. But say goodbye to your ice. Nope, never mind. It's still there. Fuck.
You keep on counting my team out. I don't know, man.
Why is your team so bulky? Ah! See, I didn't legitimately know if you're gonna get chilly reception or the other move. And now here we are.
You took that chance. You took that chance. Yeah,
I really did.
respect-
Now, my question is, did you hit Articuno or Otar? Just kidding.
No way.
It doesn't matter. Oh, please show me. Please show me. How amazing is this play? It was so amazing. It was so amazing. It
No
was
way.
genuinely the best thing ever.
How are you doing this?
Do you hit the sheer cold? Oh, you pressed your stick. Okay, yeah, I'll check.
How are you doing this?
It's an excellent question.
I just want to know. It's mainly for science, really. No way. No way. This guy is something else. Who is this? Who is this Tyranitar? Why does he have such good glasses on? Why did he miss this?
That. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I'm fine with this. What do you have? Freeze dry, tailwind.
No
What?
way.
Are we speed tied?
Okay,
No way.
You just gotta miss. You just gotta miss. You just gotta miss. You just gotta miss. Cross my fingers and hope to pray. Pray to hope. No!
I hope you realize, by making yourself an ice type, you have unlocked my
Oh,
true
no.
potential. God damn it! No!
Let's go! I can't.
Oh my god, I've never seen that before. Yo, it's down to this! It is down to this!
All right, GG.
Well played, good sir, well played!
Oh my god.
Yo! You know what?
Crazy man.
That's so poetic that it was Articuno versus Articuno by the end of it all. That was funny. Oh
good
my
game,
god.
man,
Good game, good game. Well played. Woo! What a game. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, again, please consider subscribing. Leaving a like on this video and sharing it with your friends means so much to us. Otar and I plan to be doing something a little more convoluted for the next trio of Regional Rumble videos, but stay tuned for those. Please leave a comment on which of the birds you like the best, along with future video suggestions for the channel. Take care.